Hi, so in module one, we're talking about purpose. If you get to know me a little bit, you'll know that purpose is super important to me. I I wish I could explain why. I'm not sure that I can, but I'm like super focused on finding my purpose. I'm super focused on helping my students, even coworkers, find theirs. I totally believe that when you have what I would call right vision about your future, that you feel better and therefore things go better in a way. And I'm not saying it's end all be all cure for all of life's problems. It's not. But certainly if you're going down the wrong road, you're going to be upset. You may not even know why you're upset. There have been times that I think about doing something and then I cry all day, and I often don't put those two things together, but it really is that when I am thinking about going in a direction that kind of resonates with my soul or with my heart, if you want to say that, I feel better. And so one of the reasons I love Ted Lasso is because he has a super focus on purpose as well, and not even just about, say, the players being football players, soccer players. He has a focus on whatever else they might want to do in their lives. And if you remember, I said this course has a lot of spoilers. So, spoiler alert, um, that in the pilot episode, the minute he walks into the Richmond locker room, Ted says, it smells like potential. Now, I look at a locker room and I've been in a few and I don't think it smells like potential at all, but he did and he loved it. And I'm sure there's lots of people in the world who agree with him. But he just knew one of the reasons he loves being a coach is to help the players be the best person that they can be. And, we're not taking on the burden of other people's lives. We're not saying that. We're not becoming responsible for these other people. You're just saying, look, I can see you maybe better than you can see yourself. And I can see these gifts that you have and these potentials that you have. And if I can figure out the things that you want to do and align the things you want to do with the gifts that you have, then maybe I can help encourage you and support you in going in that right path. I mean, why wouldn't you want to? We don't want to help people go down the wrong path, surely, right? Especially not our students. And so, yeah, so I love that Ted's focused on purpose. I'm focused on purpose. I think a lot of teachers are, so you probably are as well. And we can see the potential in those people around us. According to new research, this is from the University of Cambridge, adolescents, encouraging adolescents to feel capable and purposeful rather than just happy could improve their academic results as well as their mental health. So, yeah, when people hear the term positive psychology, which I said one of my degree programs was about that, had a real big focus on that. Anyway, they hear that term positive psychology and they think that that's about being positive all the time or that's about being happy. And yeah, there's some truth to the positive effects of being positive, but there's also toxic positivity. You can be too positive. You can ignore the bad things right in front of you or that your students are going through. And that's not good either. And then it's not just about making them happy. We hear a lot about happiness is connected to what is happening and that you can't control what is happening. You can only control what's going on inside of you. And so just the idea that purpose matters and that it is more than just being positive or being happy. It's deeper. And in the program I'm in now, we study James Hillman, who came up with the acorn theory. He was an archetypal psychologist, came up with archetypal psychology. And the acorn theory says, the oak tree is actually inside of the acorn, which is the seed of the oak tree. That blueprint is inside of there. I had an apple on the first page, and this TV show's from Apple, so we could say the apple seed has an apple, has the blueprint of the apple inside of it. And so we have these acorns or seeds inside of us that for these unique purposes that we were created for. And I believe that. So Ted is able to spot strengths and he never gives up on people. We learn, again, spoiler, we learn that Beard, who's his sidekick coach through the whole thing, he comes in from the beginning, both from Kansas. We learn that they had a hard time early on and that Beard didn't really deserve that job or to, I think he stole Ted's car or something. He had done some things. He didn't really deserve that second chance. Who does? But we need to give people second chances. And so I guess I just want to point out it's not just enough to see the strengths, but there's a lot of resistance involved in change and transformation. And to be able to really keep seeing that potential, even when the person or the student continually self sabotages or, all of those things. Really, really important. Roy was a player getting older, and Ted saw his ability to coach. And even though Roy very much resisted it, he kept after him and didn't give up on him. And finally, yeah, we find out what happens in season 3. And then Nate, oh my goodness. Yeah, he was the kit man, right? And then Ted could tell he had these great ideas and took his ideas and used them and then promoted him. And um, again, their relationship had struggles, but Ted didn't give up on Nate, even maybe when he should have. And that works out. We know that Nate is a better person because of Ted. And we know that Ted learned a lot from Nate as well. So being able to spot strengths, support those strengths, encourage those strengths, and then never give up because we're all going to, it's not just going to be sunshine and roses. There's going to be things that happen and everybody's going to make mistakes. And so just never give up. Now, does that mean you need to let somebody abuse you? Of course not. I've had a student recently who just wore me down to my last nerve, and I finally just had to say, I've given you all the chances I can give. Um, we still worked it out, but I mean, there is that wall that you can hit in this second, third, fourth, fifth chances, but to never give up and to know that you can make a difference in somebody's life. Transformation. Ted uses unorthodox methods to reach the heart of the matter and the person. We can see Roy there reading to Phoebe. Ted gave everybody books. I think Beard helps him. And the book that he gave, um, I'm like going blank. I think it's Wrinkle in Time or something like that. He gave to Roy was about a little girl, and Roy was upset. Are you saying I'm a little girl? And he's like, well, it's about a little girl who needs to become a leader. And so Ted knew, he could see that Roy was meant to be a leader, not only the captain of the team, but then eventually the coach. And so to be able to see the potential and then to use whatever methods that you can, sometimes unorthodox, to pull that out of the person, to help the person see themselves, to help them transform. Um, we'll talk more about transformation later on in the course. My experience with students is, and what I think applies to purpose, is that the students who know where they want to go usually get there. I've had several students in my communication classes that I teach who said, oh, I want to go work for this car company. And they went and they interned and then they got a job. And then we were super successful with that car company. And they may have gone on to something else later as they evolved. But just knowing what they wanted to do and then, getting the skills and experiences necessary to be able to go down that road, learning the skills and the learning the experiences that were going to be necessary, or the software programs or whatever, help them go down that road and to believe that they could. And so just knowing the direction, and I'm not necessarily just talking about goals and reaching goals. I'm just saying knowing that internal thing that comes alive inside of you, and pursuing that. And so I've had other students who loved music and decided they wanted to go work at a venue where that had music come in all the time, and they did, and it's not just here to there, but it can be very rapid within a couple years going into leadership positions just because of that real focus. And if you don't know your purpose, or if your students don't know their purpose, then often you have to try lots of things before you figure it out. And I've actually, people around me would say I throw a lot of spaghetti on the walls. Very little of it sticks. And even if it does stick, if I decide I don't like that spaghetti strand, I'll walk away. Maybe it doesn't stick inside of me. But just the act of trying things, trying new things, trying things you think you want to do, and then figuring out if you like it, if it really is energizing for you, and then keeping on going down that road. You got to believe it before you see it. I think somebody said that. So, in our next module, we're going to talk about hope. But I wanted to let you know that there are some activities in this course, and I'm sure you've seen them, to help you reflect and to think about purpose and how it plays a part in your life, in the lives of your students, and in the life of your classroom. So, thank you, and I'll see you in a bit.